Okay, I just had to do a live about this one because it needs to be said. And so, what this live is going to be about is about people problems and how solving people problems is definitely and likely for you as well if you own a business and with a team of people, the fastest and most sustainable way to grow your business. It is the most sustainable growth strategy. Now, there are a lot of growth strategies out there in the world of entrepreneurship. And if you have a team of 5 people and everything, you probably have explored all these different ways to scale and grow your business. But just because it's fast doesn't mean it's sustainable. And so the key thing is fast is super sexy. And I've talked about this before, but when you make it fast and sustainable, well, then that's uber sexy at the end of the tunnel, right? Hey, it's Wayne. If in case you don't know who I am, on my personal page, you probably do, but I am the CEO and co-founder of Limitless Leader and the co-creator of the Scale Up and Out program. And so what we do is we help, over the last 20 years, my business partner Lisa and I have helped entrepreneur leaders with teams of 5 or more or 10, to scale up and out of their business, out of the daily grind. So doing so without sacrificing revenue and growth. So now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about this. Over the past week or so, I've been out and about, networking, meeting a lot of really amazing people, peers, colleagues, friends, prospects, and even clients. And consistently across the board, I've been observing a trend that's been happening. And I've known this trend for a while, but it was really in my face this past week when people heard about what it is that I do. And then they say, well, here are my challenges. We don't have the right CRM. We don't have the right software. We don't have the right tech. And I said, who's responsible for all that? And they said, no one. It says, well, that's why you're having a problem. You don't necessarily have a tech issue, because after you put the tech in, okay, I can recommend some amazing technology because that's kind of my background. Who's going to be running it? So what they have is so far beyond a tech problem or a systems problem. They have what we call a people problem. Then I talked to somebody else who had just invested in a CRM, a email management system. They also had a fulfillment software that really kind of was customized to their own way of doing fulfillment, and they were still having challenges. And I said, well, who do you have responsible for executing all that tech, all that great technology? He says, well, we're not quite sure yet. I said, okay, once again, and this is a different person, a different business. I said, you don't have a strategy problem. I mean, all that tech sounds amazing. And the fact that you had the people who owned that technology come in and customize it to exactly how you do things. The problem right now you have is, once again, a people problem. And so what I want to do today is, first and foremost, explain why people problems are the root of it all. And if you're the fastest way for you to create a sustainably and consistently scaling and growing business is not through the systems, is not through SOPs. I know my COO process friends will probably kind of crucify me for this. But at the end of the day, the root cause of the success and failure of any of those strategies is the people. Okay, so what I want to do is, you guys know, if you have seen me, you've seen how much I love my whiteboard. So let's go to the virtual whiteboard and let's talk about this. Okay. There's 2 fundamental strategies or problems in any business. Okay. Most people like to address systems. Why? Systems is clean, it's clear, it's quantifiable. You can look at KPIs, you can look at metrics, and then you can build systems and strategies to solve it. Okay. The second problem is people. And why people is something that, I have colleagues that say, Wait, you just deal with the people problems. We'll white label your stuff. We'll bring you in. Why? Because they just don't want to deal with it. It's like a moving target. It's very soft. Traditionally, our patented technology quantifies what traditionally has not been quantifiable. So we can actually create metrics on human performance that people usually just guess about. So that's kind of our little secret sauce. But anyway, these are the 2 fundamental problems that need to be solved for any business that wants to scale and grow. what we often find is that people invest a lot, sometimes millions, into developing the best systems, the best processes, and then they force the people, okay, to fit into these things and force them to operate in a specific structure. That's traditional business. We're starting to see a burgeoning of issues and challenges in the form of overhiring and layoffs and frustrations around and investing more money into systems with minimal ROI. Okay, meaning for every dollar they spend, the return on investment is less than $1. Okay, so the ratio is starting to do that. And so what they do to compensate is not to fix the people problems that they have with the existing people. They end up doing what we call overhiring. They hire more people to compensate for people that aren't doing the job, and so hopefully these people will cover for these people and back up. And then they overhire, and then they say, oh, we can't afford that. Then they basically, lay people off. And it becomes this like vicious hamster wheel of a cycle. Okay. Now, what I'm going to talk about right now is why you want to prioritize working with the people first. Solving the people problems will not only improve the execution of the current systems, it will help the people identify ways to optimize current systems and make it even better. Okay. Now, how we do it is, I'm going to share that with you, is helping you understand the fundamentals of how a person gets optimized or get. And one of the things that I did in another conversation was I got a chance to break down the numbers. This organization, the CEO, this was the person I was talking to, they had a team of what he referred to as underperforming team members. The reason why I was talking to him, because I was in the middle of a conversation with somebody else he overheard, and I was talking about the current layoff challenges, and I was talking about why it's happening. He was intrigued, and he says, hey, Wei, can I talk to you privately? So he pulls me off to the side, away from the rest of the group, and he goes, I'm one of those people that is struggling with laying off. I don't like laying people off because it breaks my heart. I actually care. I was like, I'm sure you do. I think most people do. But, our old school, archaic corporate thinking is like, it's just business, and not realizing that the core of the success or failure of any business is people. Let me tell you first, before I continue with this guy's story, why that is. You can have it's kind of like what I was saying earlier. You can have the best systems in place that automate it so well that even a monkey can run it. Okay. I'm going to change away from here. I'm going to talk to you guys face and look at you guys in the eyes when I talk about this. You can have like millions of dollars and put into systems so that you can take you can mitigate human error from executing these strategies. In fact, you could distill your entire business down, and in some businesses, we've seen that, right? Even in Tesla, right? We've seen that. We could distill the whole entire business down to every process that can be executed just by pushing a button, okay? All that person needs to do is push the button at the right time and push the button when they're supposed to push the button. But I guarantee you, human beings are fallible. If that human being is having a bad day, if that human being had a bad day at home and they brought it to work, if that human being was up all night because they're a new parent and they're like falling asleep on the job, guess what? They might not push the button on time to execute a specific set of strategies for fulfillment, for acquisitions, for operations, anything across the entire ecosystem of the business. Or worse yet, they'll fall asleep and they won't push the button at all at a critical moment. Now, someone will say, well, we could create a system around that so it prevents human error. Guess what? Unless the whole entire business is automated from the start all the way to the end without any human involvement at all, which I have yet to see an entire business run that way, okay? We're talking about these businesses that are passive businesses. It's never really ever passive. It still requires someone to turn on a switch. Then what you have is still a people problem. Okay. And the sooner you prioritize solving the people problems first, the faster your business will grow, the faster you'll get the ROI from everything else invested that isn't a people problem strategy. Okay. Let's just kind of like really kind of understand that. And again, the reason why people avoid doing that is because it's really freaking hard. Every human being is different. Every combination of human being is different. And that's kind of like the biggest thing that we help solve. So I'm going to show you what I talked to this guy about. Okay, so let's dive right back into this. So he was telling me he had all these people who are underperforming. And what he did was, I said, well, how did you address it? I said, I didn't know what to do. I hired coaches and consultants and, people who were experts in like different in psychologies. And we were able to get nominal results, but it didn't justify the cost of those people who were helping them on a psychological level or on a traditional coaching level. And so what he did was he hired more people to back up each of these people, and he installed a bunch of new tech. And so these people were particularly good at the new tech. And so they were backing up these people, but also helping to execute this tech. Now, what happened was the market shifted and changed. We are living in an interesting economy right now. And all that investment into fixing the underperforming, well, let me move this down here, underperforming staff members that were already there took away energy from observing what was going on in the industry. So it became very internalized. Then the market shifted, and then the CEO or the guy I was talking to goes, oh, holy cow, the industry's changed. We're not keeping up. Now we're losing money. Now we're losing market share. And so these people that he hired ended up having half of them having to be laid off. He had to put a pause on the implementation of this new technology that he invested a lot of money in. And then he ended up, because of the underperforming, he started laying other people off. And he says, I hate this. I hate this world, what's going on right now. And I said, here's the thing. What you have from the very get-go was not a tech problem. It was an underperforming people problem. And what you needed to do was be able to quantify and establish the unique optimization protocols for each and every single human being. And he says, well, that's really hard. Well, and so I sat there and let me break down a couple fundamentals that you want to do. Every human being has a 3-phase workday. Morning, noon, and night, every human being behaves a little differently. Sometimes they're seers or thinkers or doers in 3 different parts of the day. If you create and force everybody to work a certain way every part of the day, especially your sales team, then yes, I get the fact that it's a company culture, but it doesn't truly honor the unique way someone actually performs. And he goes, well, yeah, you're just calling me out left and right. I do that. Okay, I said, great. The next piece is within each of those 3-phase days of morning, noon, and night, okay, there are, from our metrics that we measure, there are 12 different potential ways that a human being can perform in those nuances, in those phases. So if you can imagine, with all the different people, there are a variety, there's so many different variations. And if you force someone to perform certain things at a certain time of day in a certain way, you're basically going to tell people to do something that they may not necessarily be naturally designed to do, which means they won't perform at the highest level, which then means it requires more energy for them to do it in a way that isn't in alignment with the way they do it. And then on and on and on and on. What we did is I broke it down as this is how we understand how to optimize human performance, to which afterwards he said, wait, I need to really talk to you because right now we're in massive bleeding mode, but let's talk about it when I kind of stopped the bleeding a little bit, because I think what you're talking about was exactly what it needed. So you could have saved me had I known you about half a year ago, could have saved me, I think he said in the tune of almost $1 million on just his scenario. Okay. I know this is, I know this is kind of I dove into a little bit down the rabbit hole in the weeds a little bit, but what I wanted to demonstrate here was a deeper understanding of how we know that most of the problems is people problems. And for years, don't get me wrong, I was a business consultant, I was a brand strategist, I did all these things for organization, and I started with all the strategies, the structure and everything. And it got to a point over the years, over the last 20 years or so, I got really frustrated. It was like, why are the results so slow? I'm a little bit of an impatient entrepreneur, right? Even for my clients. And so the expectation was, let's go fast. And we were hitting these walls. And every single time, what resolved those stopping blocks was me jumping back in and resolving the people problems. And so why not start with resolving the people problems first, optimizing what you already have? And when you do that, it reveals so much more, and you can actually help offload a lot of the stuff that most entrepreneurs leaders take on when their teams are underperforming. So if you have a business and you have teams of people and you find yourself still wearing multiple hats and doing too many things like you did when you first started the business by yourself, then most likely, if you redirect your efforts into optimizing and solving the people problems, you're going to be able to immediately offload a ton of stuff off your plate so that you can have that freedom to focus on scaling a business, growing your business, not only quicker, but in a way that sticks. We call it sticky scaling because it's sustainable. All right. So again, I often jump on these lives because I'm saying enough is enough. I got to share this. This is something that's really important. And so if this resonates with you, now here's the thing. Now I have a lot of extra resources, some worksheets and training. So if you want access to that, and we usually give this to our private clients, just comment below or DM me or directly, and let's talk about which resources will best fit for you to solving those people problems. Just drop a comment, message me. And as usual, there's no opt-in required. It's just a Google Drive direct link. So I'll just send it to you with whatever resource that best fits for what you need. But anyway, let me know. But hopefully this was helpful. Other than that, enjoy the rest of your day. And I look forward to the next enough is enough moment. I have to jump on a live and just share a little insight of what we do to help all our clients, all our friends, all our family, anybody who needs this. Because at the end of the day, when we all get better together, whether you're a client or not, the world becomes a better place as entrepreneurs because we're out there solving people problems, right? Or we're solving problems in general. Anyway, I'll just shut up right now and I'll talk to you later.